Right, well, I'm assuming I'm live. I haven't got anyone watching me at the minute, but hopefully people will be able to watch this back later. So, one sec, let me just have a check, see if I can find a way of seeing who's... Oh, 3 people are watching me, right, okay. Right, okay, right, hello everyone, yeah, my name's Chris, and this is literally just a test to try something new and try and work out how to use the streaming stuff that I'm using. What's this here? Sorry, I've just got a message up. Oh, right, okay. Let's leave that. Right, so the aim of today is to try and kind of reveal a new war diary or a couple of new war diaries that I've just received. So, bit about me. I set up a GoFundMe to help fund my research into the anti-invasion defences of East Yorkshire. So I'm an archaeologist, and I've been researching anti-invasion defences and recording them across the UK for a while now, in particular those in Yorkshire. And recently I decided to try and get a bit of money together to fund documentary research. So a shed load of information is held in the National Archives, which in some cases isn't the most accessible place to people who live outside or nowhere near London. So I set up a GoFundMe, which this wouldn't be happening without my very, very generous donors. And they've helped to fund my research, which has been absolutely amazing. We've also received, well, I also used some of the money to get a shed load of the documents I require from the National Archives. I've also set up a Patreon as well, so if you want to support me for like £5 a month, you can do, which the money goes towards my research and you'll receive exclusive content. The idea behind these little live streams is just to kind of give an insight into some of my research, but in the future these will be I'll be making these more commonly for Patreons and people who funded me through GoFundMe. And yeah, this is just a kind of like little test just to see what I can do. So yeah, please do check out the Patreon and the GoFundMe if you want to find out more. If you want to find out a bit more about me, you can go to my website as well, which is chriscolonco.wordpress.com, or Chris Colonco Wheat now. You can find out a load of information there, but let's kind of have a quick look at just some of the stuff I've got so far before we get into the war diaries itself. So I'm going to have to work out how to do this. Right, let's switch to my GIS. So this is the geographical information software that I'm using to essentially plot all the information I'm finding in the document. So these are the brigade areas as plotted from the 66th Infantry Division's war diary. So that was the division responsible for defending large swathes of Yorkshire and elsewhere, in particular Yorkshire, in early 1940. And as a result of the war diaries, I've been able to work out where various units were based. And this is one of the reasons why getting the documentary sources is really quite important, because it allows me to build up this picture which you don't see on the ground today. And this is vital for telling the wider story, for building up an idea of things such as communications networks, chain of command, orders of battle, and all this stuff, and seeing where units are or were within the landscape of East Yorkshire. So yeah, these documents are proving massively vital to this research, and I've spent a lot of time doing landscape surveys and all this stuff and interpretation using GIS, so it's really nice to add further information to some of the field work that I've been undertaking. Right, let me just turn that GIS off. We might come back to that later. So these are some of the war diaries I've received recently, literally just today. So the money that people have generously donated through the GoFundMe has helped for me to pay a researcher. So I've paid a chap called Mike, who's been going out to the National Archives and spending hours there taking photographs of bits of paper for me. And I've also been able to hire other researchers, including I think it's Andy from the British War Diary copying service. He's on Facebook and gets my recommendation as well. So, yeah, and I've also had additional documents sourced by Ollie, who might be watching, and Peter Hibbs as well, who's a good friend of mine, has been very generous in providing me information. So there's a vast amount of information. I've been aiming to try and get everything down to at least battalion level. So I need to sort these files out. But ideally getting every single brigade, command, corps, division file and those files relating to the Royal Engineers as well. So today we're going to have a look at one Royal Engineer Field Company manual, war diary, and maybe have a look at the Manchester Regiment as well. These Royal Engineer Field Company diaries aren't necessarily that interesting. There's been not as much information as I'd like in those so far for Yorkshire, which is a bit annoying because these were the units that coordinated and built the defences. So I was hoping to get some insight into how the defences themselves were built. But this has not really been forthcoming, unfortunately, apart from one diary, which has provided pretty much all the information. So what I'm going to do is hopefully you can still see this. So let's take this file out of here. So I've not seen this yet already. I'm just going to copy and paste that across and wait for that to decompress. Right. Come on. So these are quite big files. Some of them have like 500, 600 images in them. And like I say, in this case, it's going to be like a big reveal. We're going to see what's held within this war diary file. As I said, we're starting with these ones because the Royal Engineers Field Company war diaries haven't been particularly interesting. But we'll just have a look what's in there and we'll see what we can see. And again, you know, this is something that's never really been done before. So very few people actually consider these documents, because a lot of people unfortunately think that no documents were ever kept relating to anti-invasion defences because they were built so quickly, while the opposite is true, which we'll see today. So key sources of information here that I'm using are the war diaries held under W0166 in the National Archives. So I'm using war diaries because these outline the experiences of the units that were deployed to East Yorkshire. So each unit would have kept a war diary down to like battalion level, give or take. And these kind of highlight the day-to-day goings on. Oh, great. One of my cats is just in a smelly poo. They seem to know when I'm on the computer talking to people. Great. Thanks, Pepper. That's going to be one of the highlight reels. Right. That aside, so yeah, these war diaries highlight the day-to-day experiences of the units, and you often get orders and things like that in there as well. So vast amount of information can sometimes be found in these. So let's open this up. There's not many files in here. Bear with me a second as this opens up, because I suspect I'm going to have to create a new window. Add source. So I'm just getting used to this capture software that I'm using as well. This is all very, very new to me. Right, let's check this out. Photo apps, is that the right one? Let me check. No. So let's try that again. Right. Image, capture image. Oh, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Right, can I turn that off? How odd. Right, let me try that again. In fact, I'm going to try something different. I'm just going to turn that off. Let's go to my display capture. We'll give this a go instead. Okay, so that's not very nice. That's what I can see at the minute. But if we go here, you should be able to see this document, all been well. So this is the front cover of the war diary for the 208th Field Company Royal Engineers under the 2nd Division. So these were active from July 1940 to December 1940 in East Yorkshire. And let's see what's inside. So, like I say, I've not had much luck so far. The Royal Engineer Field Companies, there were generally 3 of these per division, give or take, and then there was 1 field part company as well. So the field companies of the Royal Engineers were the units responsible for building and coordinating the construction of defences and various other things in a given area, and the field part companies, which I've not looked at in any detail yet. I need to get their war diaries, were responsible for procuring materials. So I've not focused on them because I don't think they're going to be very interesting, but maybe I'll get one in the future just to see what was going on. Right. So what we got? So starting in July 1940, so what have they got? Work on defences continuing at Hornsey Mere against enemy aircraft landing. 2 electricians loaned to the RAF. So this is nice in that it's actually typed. So a lot of these you get are what is it? Are handwritten. They're quite hard to decipher. Unfortunately, here we've got a sapper was killed as well on the 12th of July 1940. So a key thing with the anti-invasion defence is that the soldiers deployed that across the UK, there were casualties as a result of both enemy action and accidents, and it's relatively common to see deaths mentioned in these war diaries, so that's particularly sad. Confirmation of battle casualties received in Appendix A as well. So you'll get your day-to-day kind of war diary stuff, and then sometimes you'll get appendices at the back, which has various other bits and pieces of information in there, which are useful for like things like orders and things like that. What we got? Oh, nice. So this unit are actually building some of the defences in August 1940. Here we've got that they are work on defences continue. This is the work. So making fixing blocks for embrasures or loopholes, building walls and beach pillboxes, precast pillboxes completed at these grid references. That's really, really cool. Nice. Oh, Polish officer and cadet sergeant attached to the unit for instruction. That is cool. So I'll be plotting those later in my GIS. Excellent. So that information is probably going to get nicked now. So more, this is actually really quite useful. So more outlines of locations where these are working. New type pillboxes, that's interesting. They're probably going to be Rook pillboxes in September 1940. That's really interesting. Building low roadblocks, enlarging loopholes in pillboxes. Now that's interesting too. Okay, cutting timber at Risewood. So a whole range of activities they're going up to. Building gun pits, 2 anti-personnel minefields. Nice, that's really quite cool. Nice. So coming into October 1940, again, further work, precast pillboxes. So those will be your Rook pillboxes. That's really, really cool. Nice. Then billeted in empty private houses. That's really quite cool. Nice one. Right, so November, what we got in November? Unit left for Kedleston, so they're moving out to undertake training at Kedleston, Park Bridging Camp. Lectures given at Hull Uni, that's interesting too. Training small box girder bridges. So you see a lot of them going off to do training in building small box girder bridges as well, which is quite interesting. Also worth mentioning here as well, the commanding officer of the company is Major L.F. Morling as well, DSORE. So that's quite cool. January 41, field works, demolitions, water supply, field defences, wiring. So they weren't just building defences, they were building things like camps and providing water supplies as well. Oh, as well doing route marches, so you need to keep fit. So physical training was a key element of their deployment. That's really cool. February 41. Building huts, that's pretty cool. That'll come in useful as well. So working over quite a large area in East Yorkshire. So this is the unit that I was hoping to trace. So these would have been the unit responsible for building the defences primarily in East Yorkshire. That's really cool. More huts as well. Yeah. Air attack on Hull. Large numbers of incendiaries in Billiton area. So excellent. That's really cool. Quartermaster stuff. So they took quite a beating there as well. From the air. Coming into April 41. Northern Command exercise built 2 trestles, 4 grillages, whatever, 2 base superstructures. Okay, that's cool. Right, March. So you can see the format of the war diary's changed here as well. That's interesting, but at least it's still all fully typed out. Sunday church parades are quite common. They pop up every so often, return from exercise as well. So the units deployed within the Home Forces were also required to not only undertake training while they were building defences and occupying the defences and garrisoning them, they were also taking part in exercises to prepare them for potential combat as well. So you see a lot of exercises mentioned. So you probably hear in the background my wife preparing some food as well now and banging around. It's interesting as well. So you've got the various sections undertaking things like tank hunting and standby to go into Hull as the demolition party to blow up bridges. This is all really cool. So what you can do with these war diaries as well is also plot where units are and where they are at a specific time and see what type of training they're doing, which is, again, giving us this insight into the anti-invasion defences, which you don't generally see. Home Guard unit dance attended by members of the unit. That's pretty cool. Practical demolitions, inspection. What's this? Oh, this is returns of soldiers coming in, so sappers coming into the unit, which are quite useful as well, which give you this an insight into who was coming in. That's quite interesting. What we've got: June 41, Sunday Church Parade, preparation for Rudolph exercise. So these exercises all get given relatively interesting names as well. And you'll usually find an appendix which outlines what the unit was to do during the exercise as well. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Houston Ferry. So quite busy. Sorry, bear with me a second. I'm just going to check my phone. Sorry, I'm getting messages on WhatsApp. Unfortunately, Phil, I can't see you, mate. Cool. Right, sorry, let me put my phone down before I get distracted. So unit receives instructions to draw full issues of rifles. That's interesting. So 41, they finally got their full issue of rifles. Right, okay. Tank hunting and trapping again. Training. So interesting role of the Royal Engineers here is that they clearly would have been quite integral to taking out tanks. That's quite interesting. Not something I'd considered before. Company carried out tactical exercise involving movement across rough country. So yeah, this is giving them the practical skills they would need for combat. River crossing, gas spray, cooking home meals in Doncaster area. Is that quite, is that to get them ready for combat, was it? That's interesting. Cooking home meals in Doncaster, is that, some form of specific training? Anyway, company drill, play cricket, and then Sunday church parade as well. Cool. Night exercising, including tank hunting. So yeah, that's very interesting, that. Carrying out defence work at aerodromes. So they were quite busy. August 41, what we got? Unpacking musketry. So again, learning to shoot. Key to keeping skills up. Hutton in Rickle. They were relatively busy. September, what we got? Brain gun teams practice AA, anti-aircraft fire and Alba range. Cool. Then building hutting, embarkation leave began, mobilisation orders received. So this is then preparing to get moved elsewhere. And then exercise Percy. That one crops up quite a few times in the other war diaries as well. That's really, really interesting. Something I might look at in more detail later. Building English bridges, musketry open range, military training, electro water supply. Okay, again, appendix of soldiers coming in. Cool. Right, November. So more training, more training. Oh, they're in Selby now, so they've been pulled into the rear. That's interesting too. December 41, training military field, elementary field work, so building things like slit trenches. Okay. Chipping Norton, so they've moved again. Christmas Day. So this will be coming towards the end of this war diary. Brought up strength from unit. Yeah, so that's the end of that. So unfortunately no appendices in that one, but that's given us some relatively useful information that it can trace in terms of what am I trying to say? In terms of tracing things they were building. So what I'm going to do is just dump that in my engineers folder. Right, let's have a look at the Manchester. So the Manchester Regiment, they were deployed to East Yorkshire as the Division Machine Gun Battalion or something like that. They were primarily occupied with using machine guns. Yeah, and I know at one point they formed a mobile unit as well it was one of the mobile machine gun companies to attack across East Yorkshire as well. So that's quite interesting. Sorry, right, bear with me a second while this loads up. I need to find a better way of doing this. Right. let's just wait for that to load up. So, is that there yet? No, this might be quite a big one. So just to kind of put East Yorkshire into context, East Yorkshire sat within Northern Command. So Northern Command was responsible for defending the area from the Wash all the way up to the Edinburgh border. Well, the border with Scotland. And then you had Western Command on the other side as well. So quite a large area that the command was set to defend. And then I think the command was split up into, there were at least 4 divisions. No, 2 in Lincolnshire, 2 in Yorkshire, and 2 in Northumberland as well. So it was quite a large area to cover, but a relatively decent amount of soldiers were deployed to defend the area as well. Well, this is going to be a big one. This really is. Right, how many we got? Ooh, hello. Let's just wait for this to fully come through. So, in terms of battalions as well, I've got quite a few of the battalion war diaries. And these are really useful for getting a larger, kind of like more in-depth view of the units defending the county, kind of from battalion all the way down to section and company level generally. So yeah, you get quite a lot of information about standing orders and how the defences were to be set up and occupied and all this stuff. Yeah, come on. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be. Items remaining 86. Come on. Right, sorry, just going to have to deal with my face for a minute. So many people go 11. I need to work out what this all means as well. Let's just close that. So 11 views. Is that 11 people watching now? I've got any comments? But like I say, I'm all very, very new to all this. I don't really know what I'm doing. Oh, that's my stats. I don't need to see that. Okay, right. Come on. Sorry, this might take a while. What I'm going to do is... Right, let's just start opening this. Right. So this battalion diary, the 2nd Manchester Regiment, covers from June to December 1941. Again, that seems to be a relatively standard period for these. So that kind of covers... I'd like these war diaries to be a bit earlier so you get that pre-Fall of France information going on. But unfortunately, that's not been the case here. The division war diaries often cover... like from the outbreak of war up until December 1941, but this doesn't seem to be the case with battalion war diaries. But that's something I'll look into later, and hopefully through more funding be able to source the pre-June 1940 war diaries. Right, let's get having a look. So what we got? This is the problem with these diaries, right? So when they're handwritten, they can be quite hard to decipher. So my wife's a paleographer, and she does a lot of work deciphering documents in various languages. So this handwriting is not too bad. So remains of the battalion, so they were pulled out of Dunkirk, split up over various parts of England. Parties are known to be at Sheffield with the commanding officer. So is that Frampton and commanding officer Major Frampton. Okay, and you've got some in Reading, Ashton, something on the under Lyme. Wow, and Oswestry as well, Bulford, Bovington. Wow. So the unit was pretty much all over the place. So this was one of the key problems with the units that were pulled out of the fighting in France, is that many of them were fragmented when they were pulled back into the UK. But as soon as they got back to the UK, they were given tasks of defending the UK across the country, essentially, and had this kind of double-edged sword of having to rearm and re-equip and replace casualties, as well as having to undertake the defence of the country as well. And a lot of people seem to think that the Home Guard were defending everywhere while the army recuperated. It's not true. It's simply not true at all. Okay, right. So somewhere in Lincoln. God, they were all over the place. South Dalton, right? Dalton. So I'm just... Oh, right. A Company moved to Withensey. So that's them arriving in East Yorkshire under the 5th Infantry Brigade. They have 8 Vickers machine guns, 2.5 Vickers machine guns. That's interesting. When was this? 28th of June. So 8 Vickers machine guns in a brigade and 2.5 Vickers. Tripods obtained, but something. Right, that's cool. So brigade with that. Oh, here we go. Something 16 Vickers. Oh, they drew 16 Vickers, 303 and 3 Vickers machine guns, 0.5 from Denby Yeomanry. Cool. So they're getting deployed pretty much instantly within a couple of days of being back in England. So 1st of June they were pulled back. So 27 days later they were being deployed to East Yorkshire having to draw weapons to defend the coast. So this was them picking up their replacement machine guns. That's really, really cool. Okay, so they had 8 Vickers machine guns. This is better. South Dolphin, Langston Hall. So you get a lot of this where they're recording when air raid warnings went out as well, the severity of that warning as well. That's cool. Okay. 11. So I'm just doing a very broad overview. So when I generally open these war diaries, I'll just skim read and see if anything pops out. Division shall be a minimum of 600. Power blocks more widely separated. What's this? So owing to the difficulty in obtaining on account of anti-tank. Oh, anti-tank groins. Okay. Hornsey. Yeah, they've been mentioned before. They received anti-tank rifles, 6 brain guns. So company citing Lion Lights in the 5th Infantry Brigade. That's interesting. They were citing. So the company was citing. Oh no, CO citing Lion Lights. Received 9 anti-tank rifles. Okie doke. 5,000 rounds. So yeah. Fetch 2 civilians impressed motorcycles from Carlisle. Is this fully loaded yet? So let me just check. Yeah, cool. There was a map there. Nice. More air raid messages. So this is coming into. What's this? Is this July? Yeah, July 1940. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, now this is interesting. So we've got 2nd Infantry Battalion fronts fixed as follows. You've got the Royal Berkshire Regiment, 3rd Battalion, 5th Battalion Durham Light Infantry, Royal Welsh Fusiliers, 5th Battalion, and the 6th Infantry Brigade area, 5th Dorsets, 3 Camerons, 5th Worcester. So the Worcesters were deployed to the south, covering Spurn Point in, prior to November 1940. So that's interesting. And then three officers arrived from the Holden Battalion at Whitley Bay. That's cool. What else we got? 2 officers arrived from the machine gun technical college. Is that something? Responsibility for many parties at Kilnsey, Spurn Point, Easington. Oh, hello. So this will be 15th of August. Yeah, several enemy bombers over C&D company areas. Driffield Aerodrome heavily bombed and considerable damage done. Bombs dropped at Burton Agnes and other parts. Nice, that's pretty interesting to see. Okay. Again, 3 Polish cadets, 2 Polish officers coming to be attached as well. Polish Army detachment. That's really interesting. Lieutenant Sutton. Bombs dropped in A company area. So yeah, vast amount of information. One thing I have been doing is plotting where the bombs were falling as well. So you get that. You also get a lot of information about where mines are washing up as well. You get them popping up pretty much every single day, which is really interesting. COA company citing alternative positions for pillboxes made untenable by high tides. That's a key problem with the East Yorkshire coast as well. You see that in North Yorkshire around Scarborough, where they're having to modify pillboxes to stop them getting inundated with waves. Interesting here, so no concrete is available for platforms for trench mounting. So this will be August 1940. In August 1940, we start to see resources start to run low in terms of things like timber, Yeah, RE's produced rough wooden structure as an alternative. That is interesting. So yeah, cement and concrete and the component parts of concrete also start to run low. In August 1940, in some areas, cement is rationed, for example. So I've seen that pop up in the 18th Division War Diary, which covers Norfolk, which I got today as well, which I'll be using for some other stuff. Unfortunately, that's a blurred picture. That's a shame. And that is. So what are we in? September 40. Is that changing handwriting or a different pen? That's a new pen. Standing Court of Inquiry at Filey, damage to requisition buildings. So you do see that happening quite a bit as well, where there's some of the soldiers kicking off and things like that. Seen a couple of court martials and things mentioned. Yeah. CSM Hibbert appointed Royal RSM in King's Own Royal Regiment. Ollie's just said the comments are disabled, I think. Well, I don't know how to fix that. So, anyway. Right. Battalion. Right, normal routine. Here we go. So this is an amendment. So yeah, you get all the phone numbers and points of contact. What's this? Small arms. Number of rounds per gun as well. This is quite common. Bishop's Burton. What's this? APs will be established. Ammunition points. Okay. 5.55. Oh yeah, for the 0.55 for the boys anti-tank gun. That's interesting. Smalls W there. I don't know what that means. Right. Okay. Petrol. So this is relatively standard kind of standard admin order. Yes, it's outlining where things are. So like where the supply points are, where the petrol's stored, where to get clothing from, medical aid, including your aid posts. So this idea that the defences weren't planned, it's just absolute balls. Because you can clearly see that they even had everything established, like aid posts and all this stuff, and a clear method of evacuating casualties, for example. Oh, cash, that's a new one. I've not seen something like that before. Okay, so obviously the soldiers need to be paid as well. I've got a cat buzzing around somewhere. What's this? List of aid posts. So again, you've got regimental aid posts. I can't remember the ambulance something. Field ambulance. Yeah. So each battalion and unit had its own, aid post outlined as well. So they had to know where to go if there were casualties. Prisoners of war details of what to do to POWs and what to do with them, where to go, where to send them. Air Force personnel, so your points of contact, parachute and airborne troops will be considered as Army personnel and procedure for dealing with them. See again, level of detail. Oh, that's a shame. A couple of war diaries. So that's the war diaries getting passed on. And again, back to the handwriting. Okay, Conference 2nd Division headquarters. So what are we in now? October 1940. So we're coming very close to the passover to the 2nd Infantry Division. In fact, yeah, that's what's gone on. So we've gone from the 66th Infantry Division to the 2nd Division. So there was a lot of kind of turnover of the divisions deployed here. So I always assumed that there was just a single division that was plonked in East Yorkshire and stayed there for the entirety of the Second World War or whatever. But we have 3 divisions deployed in East Yorkshire from the period 1939 to the end of 1941. So by early 1941, we have the formation of the Yorkshire Division, which is one of these local divisions that set up across. So you get like the Yorkshire Division, Lincolnshire Division, and all this stuff. And they don't last very long at all. They last a total of something like 6 months. So we've got the handover going on here with the 6th Infantry Brigade getting relieved by the 10th Duke of Wellington's Regiment and the 11th Yorks and Lancs. 5th Brigade relieved by the 14th Foresters and 8th King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry. So yeah, this is October when we see this transfer over. So the process of relieving units was quite complex. Oh, training areas, nice. I'm not going to zoom into them too close because I'll get nicked. Line light emplacements, nice, that'll get nicked. Cool. Okay, Manchester operation order, same thing, action to be taken. So again, operation orders generally outline. I've got a cat down here. Pepper, what are you doing? So she's been a little sod. She's trying to eat something. Come on, you, out there, out. Come on. There we go. Stop being nosy. Right. So literally everything the unit was to do was outlined in these operation orders. So basic stuff like what to do in the event of a raid, what to do in the event of an invasion or an airborne attack. Action to be taken by the 2 Manchesters. So air raids, yeah, no, nothing to be done unless specifically ordered. Okay, provide assistance in following zone. Cool, that's interesting. I can map that. There you. Right, what else we got? Sheet 2, air attack. Yeah, okay. That's just saying it's been received. Yeah, send in the war diary. Okay. Where are they? Langton. Where's Langton? Shoots Norton. Oh, Norton, is that? It's Electric Norton. That's not going to be Norton Aerodrome in Sheffield, is it? Birdsall. Okay. Administrative order. Supplies. Okay. Norton. Langston, work on roads. Okie doke. Moulton. Oh yeah, so roads, Birdsall, Meanthorpe and Moulton blocked by snowdrifts. Yeah, it's quite a bad winter in the end of 1940. Field driving. Okay. Let's go to the next size. March 41. 15 platoons. So they've moved further inland now, so they're at Beverley. 13 platoon, field firing rangers. So they've got a fair few platoons up at Filingdales doing live fire. Okay. I love these. So second, yeah, division exercise, counterattack by whole division reaching River Hull by nightfall. Yeah, this is cool. Third day of division exercise, final phase of counterattack. So this is all stuff that was preparing them for this eventuality of invasion. Some of these division exercises give you some decent insight into how they were going to react to invading forces landing at certain points and attacking specific places as well. That's cool. And also give it a kind of insight into how effective the defenders would have been, which would have been, they'd have been relatively good hide busters. No hide busters have locked to the 2 Manchesters. Again, ammunition resources. Smalls. I was hoping to see something about Molotov cocktails in there. Baggage equipment. So this is them, I think, preparing to move out. First, the clay post again. Blurry image. So they're still in Beverley. Are they going to move up to Scarborough? Preparation for counterattack on enemy landed at Middlesbrough. Time is it? Right. I'm just going to flick through this and then I'm going to draw this to a close because there's quite a lot of information that I'm going to have to go through here. Just want to try and get to that map. Bren guns and anti-tank rifles. Transfer 1 Bren plus ammunition. What's this? Sheet 2. Another operation order. Division and operational control. There we go. So again, line lights and arcs of fire for Vickers machine guns, which will probably get nicked. Envelope A. Oh, what's this? Ah, yeah. So here's a key thing as well. So again, something that's often ascribed to the Home Guard is immobilising petrol pumps, and these war diaries are making it abundantly clear that in 1940 and 41 the Home Guard had literally zero responsibility for immobilising petrol pumps in East Yorkshire. So it's generally the done to the battalion level, but we're clearly seeing here that the two Manchesters also had orders to immobilise petrol pumps as well. So garage owners where they actually live or work at the garages in question would be given 2 envelopes as follows. I've never seen this before. Envelope A, sealed, will contain your card on which will be inscribed the code word Waterloo. And envelope B, containing instructions as to method of immobilising to be employed. The M20, will hold. Envelope C, containing the code word Waterloo and orders for immobilisation to be carried out. That's interesting. Rugby, Kettering, what's this? 2 routes chosen by which... okay, so 1 corps move exercise commences, 2 routes chosen by which 2 division will move to concentration area Rugby to Kettering, or between Rugby and Kettering. Portrait Port Centre established. So this is the June 41. Okay, so this is the... And then preparing to move again. Still in Beverley. Cool. Action stations in Pocklington. 2 Manchester operation order. What's this? Remain in Westwood camp. Yeah, this is them. In reserve. Counter attack under orders. 1 corps Lincolnshire. 2 corps. Yeah, so this is the Yorkshire division being formed as well. So control of the East Riding of Yorkshire. 2 division may be called upon in the event of invasion to take action in any of the following roles. Now that's interesting. Counter-attacking the East Riding of Yorkshire should the enemy succeed in penetrating the coast defences. To relieve aerodromes and deal with airborne landings in the East Riding of Yorkshire. West Yorkshire Division forward brigades rear boundary. Counter-attack orders under orders 1 corps in Lincolnshire. Now that's interesting. So they were to counter-attack to the south-east towards Lincolnshire, and also counter-attack as far east as Norfolk. That's cool. Okie doke, state of readiness, petrol, rations, the usual stuff, immobilisation. Yeah. So I'm based in Beverley. Okie doke. I was coming to the Bren guns and rifles. Oh, the cat's back. Pepper, what are you doing? Come on. Yes. More excised. Bit. And positions occupied by A Company, Manchester Regiment from June the 15th to July 13th, 41. Excellent. That's really cool to see where we've got some arcs of fire facing inland. Nice. Nice. Cool. But no records were ever kept because the pillboxes were built so quickly. Coast using beach lights. D Company do practice shoot from pillboxes on the coast using beach lights. Interesting they were doing that from Beverley. Okay, so there's a shed load of information here which is going to come in really useful. Another map, that's really useful. I'll be getting nicked again. Okay, let's skip. That's still in Beverley, Springhall Camp. Oh, what's this? Timetable move for the 2nd Manchesters. Cool, right. So, excuse me. This is this is a movement order. So the vast amount of detail that goes into a movement movement order is just unbelievable. So they've got everything from the timings when a vehicle should be at a set point. Excuse me. Yeah, and all this stuff, what time they're going to set off, how many rations and what rations they're going to get, anti-aircraft pickets and drills to undertake if attacked by aircraft as well, and all this stuff. Yeah, Reveille 0300 hours and breakfast at 0400 hours before they move. Yeah, shed loads of information in these, and you can plot all this stuff as well. So yeah, time battalion head, and then the time that the end of the battalion should pass. So yeah, all this was worked out in advance, and again, just shows you the level of detail and planning that went into the anti-invasion defences themselves. And the entire route plotted out as well. so they knew where they were going. So even though the signs have been removed in some cases, they could still work out where they were going because they knew how to use maps. Oh, Spring Hill Lodge Camp, eh? No, that's cool. I'm sure that'll be getting nicked as well. But yeah, anyway, hopefully that gives you an insight into what we can find in war diaries and all this stuff, and I've got a lot of information there to trawl. I'm going to go through these three. I can delete that. Later on, I might cover that for my patrons as an exclusive thing, and also see if I can work out a way of sending a link to my donors through GoFundMe as well. So if you do sign up, then you can get additional access to some exclusive content and talks, and I will be doing some more of these like war diary reveals as well. So I'm going to have a look at these now and do a walkthrough for my Patreons and GoFundMe folks later on. But I hope that's kind of like giving you some insight into some of the information we can expect to find within a war diary and how much information we see. So I'm going to be having a close look at the Royal Engineer War Diary because that was pretty interesting, but in particular the Manchesters, that's going to come in really useful. So yeah, I hope that's been interesting. I hope you found that useful. And I hope to see you in the future when I do another one of these. I'll try and do one of these like once every two or 3 months or so, as an open thing. But yeah, I'm going to be doing these more frequently for my Patreons and people that help fund my research as a thank you and as a way of putting out content. But yeah, I hope that's been useful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I've not bored the crap out of you and all that, and I'll see you later. Thank you so much.